KSEE 24 is your local election headquarters. This is an election that many people would like to see over.
Yeah, but the freedom to choose our leaders, even if you don't love the options, that freedom, that right, it has been protected by generations of Americans serving this country. Now, I was with the 12th Central Valley Honor Flight last week when it traveled to Washington, D.C. I asked these veterans about the right to vote and about their sacrifice to preserve it. Many told me they worry younger Americans are taking it for granted. At the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C., there's a wall with 4,048 gold stars. Each star represents 100 Americans killed or missing in the war. It's called the Freedom Wall. Nowhere else is the price of freedom so clear.
409,000 killed in action, 37,000 in Korea. That's a price.
2 weeks before Election Day, Al Perry made his 12th trip as president of the Central Valley Honor Flight. It's a program that takes World War II and Korean War veterans to see the memorials built for them in the nation's capital. For many of the vets, like Bill McGlasson, it's an emotional experience.
It has bugged me since I came home that I was the only one that came home unscratched. That sticks with you.
I miss him. I miss him real bad.
Joe Biscaglio was supposed to serve side by side with his best friend in the Korean War. But on the flight to Washington, he told me only his friend got sent to Asia. He did not.
We corresponded together for a whole year. I kept writing him, and he stopped writing.
I lost quite a few of my friends. That's it.
Many of these veterans lost good friends, and that's something Perry wants people to remember this election season. He says without their service, the rest of us might not even have the opportunity to vote.
They paid, and their comrades paid, for a chance for us to do that. It's a gift they gave us.
Paul Loeffler agrees. He's the vice president of the Central Valley Honor Flight.
Freedom is not free. These are the men and women who paid for it, who put their lives on the line, and they all have friends that didn't get to come home. They know how close they were to not coming home, and when we really appreciate it, I think we do take responsibility in that freedom. It is a motivator to vote.
But is that freedom being taken for granted?
I pray for the future of our country.
Retired Navy pilot Richard Rigg thinks it might be. He worries young Americans don't take voting seriously, the military seriously, or even have a sense of patriotism in general.
I'm wondering what's happening in our schools today, whether they are really instilling any of that into our kids at all.
Thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
Clearly, at least some kids are being raised right. Entire classrooms of children went up to the veterans at the World War II Memorial and handed them cards and pictures and told them, thank you.
Because we know that how much they did for our country and how much they deserve our respect.
Before they left Washington, the honor flight watched the changing of the guard at Arlington National Cemetery. Reedley veteran Audrey Hovey helped lay a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. She says it made her think of those who did not return.
It's a representation of not just a unknown soldier, but many, many unknown soldiers and their families.
And it's that sacrifice that Perry wants everyone to think about this election season. These men and women fought to preserve and spread freedom. It would be a shame to put that to waste.
They protected my right to vote, your right to view, your viewers' right to make a choice, and the same thing for the Europeans, or same thing for the countries that were liberated by these people. They would not have that if they hadn't made that sacrifice.
Even if it's my last visit, the whole thing is I honored him and I honored his name.
Thank you again. Thank you.
We cannot shake every hand, but we can cast a ballot. And in a way, that is honoring these veterans.
Sir, good morning. Thank you so much for your service, sir.
That is saying thank you. And for more information on the upcoming election, including voter resources, how you can put your voice to work, you can head to our website, yourcentralvalley.com.
It's great to hear their perspective on it.
It is.
Really makes you appreciate the opportunities we have to vote and and kind of direct the course of our country.
We take it for granted really easily sometimes. When we stop and think about it, it's almost overwhelming, to be honest.
Great job.
Well, thanks.